Hello everyone. In this video, I along with two of my colleagues are going to showcase you a bunch of AI powered pen testing tools, and we're going to run all of these tools against the same target systems, and then we are going to figure out which tools work best, easiest to install, most comprehensive assessments, accurate results, and lowest cost. So welcome to the AI pen testing bake off. First, let's take a look at what our target systems look like. So we've set up one is a vulnerable Apache Struts server. This mirrors the same vulnerability that was used to hack Equifax a few years back, if you may recall. And we are going to figure out if the tools are able to figure out this vulnerability, exploit it, and get us a reverse shell back. The second thing that we did was we initially set up the OWASP juice shop. And then we ran into a very interesting problem, which is that all of the LLMs know about OWASP juice shop. And so they automatically know all of the vulnerabilities that exist. So we had to build our own vulnerable web app. Obviously, that was simply vibe coded, but at least the apps, the LLMs would not know the vulnerabilities beforehand. Well, the sections themselves are titled by the name of the vulnerability, so that's something we might look at fixing in the next run. And the third test that we're going to run is basically a recon of one of our own websites, our own properties, and see if it is able to extract all of the relevant subdomains, IP addresses, what software are being run, etc. So let's start. The first tool that I'm going to run as part of my testing is a pen testing agentic platform that just come out called Strix. Having played with a bunch of them, it's always better to use the latest one because they actually build in a lot of capability. So let's start with Strix. All I've done is I've created a folder called Strix, and I will just walk through the installation steps now. So the installation is pretty simple. We're going to do a pipex install Strix agent. So let's do that. And this is going to pretty simply just download all of the code, install the libraries, and get you going. Now, while that happens, let me also tell you that the other things that you need to configure Strix to work for your system is you need to direct it to an LLM of your choice. We're going to simply use OpenAI GPT-5 as given in the README file. And then we're going to also export the API key as part of the setup. One of the things that they don't tell you in the documentation, but what worked for me, was that you have to create a Python virtual environment and run your Strix agent from within that. Running it from the base folder didn't work for me. So Strix has installed, and also I have exported my LLM variable and my API key, and that's pretty much it. So now we can start Strix with minus minus target and just specify 8080, which is the Equifax vulnerability. So let's see what magic it does. The other thing that's worth checking out also is my API utilization. So we are at $42 before the scan starts, and now the scan has started. So this is where the AI kicks in. It has developed a plan for testing. It's going to create a bunch of agents: a port scanning agent, a web application agent, web mapping agent, a tech fingerprinting agent. And while these agents will run, prepare to browse dynamically if needed, and then branch into specialist vulnerability agents. Now it's initializing multiple agents to go run on the target. So the interesting thing that I saw about Strix was that it triggers the creation of agents kind of on the fly, which is almost like what you would expect a foundational model with agentic capability like all of them are. Claude Code would do this. So it's doing a full connect TCP scan, and then for UDP it's doing the top 200 port scan. The interesting part is that I don't know if it's actually downloading these tools, Katana and Go Spider, or it knows that it's running on a Kali Linux box and therefore it's using the tools available here. And so we scroll up to the start and check out how it has progressed. And so it did the thinking part, created the agents, and then started spawning each of those agents one by one. Then it found, for example, very interestingly, an RCE possible bug, and therefore it spawned an RCE validation agent, which is executed and actually runs some proof of concepts as well. Here's a network recon agent that's running. Here's the web mapping agent, which is also creating scripts on the fly. It's also identified that it's an Apache Struts 2 vulnerability. It's figured out how to exploit it and spawned that dedicated validation agent to reproduce this issue and also capture full request response evidences. Continues to do that. And then also here's another agent that runs. The tech fingerprinting agent figures out what all tech is running on the target system. Continues to do that. Multiple agents are running in parallel. It exploits and shows the POC with a file upload. It also stores all of the artifacts in this workspace, which is inside the Docker container, but then it all gets saved once you exit on the local disk. And now it's begun to create the report. While a couple of agents actually continue to run, it waits for those agents to complete, but it has also started drafting the report. As you can see, all critical tasks done except the web mapping agent, which is still running. The RC report has been filed. Recon and fingerprinting is complete. And here's the final result. So you can either read through it over here. You can see it's pretty comprehensive. It figured out the RC, of course, and it exploited it, and it stored the proof of concept as well. It also detected that there is no WAF, and very interestingly, it also discovered that there is OWASP juice shop running on it. But as we said at the start, we don't want to test it because the LLMs actually figure out it's juice shop and then they know every single vulnerability there is. So it's a pretty comprehensive report with POCs, with details of the vulnerabilities, with recommendations. The attack surface map has been created. So I would say for the cost of, I think, $4 or $5 is what this test cost me when I checked my when I checked my OpenAI billing. And now I shall exit it, and we shall find that the report has been created. You can see this folder under which is just a random name, Phantom Firewall. Let's navigate to that location. And these reports, along with the vulnerabilities, are stored in Markdown format. We're simply going to now move these over to a reporting prompt and generate the report. Okay, so we can see, yeah, it cost about $4.89 to run this scan. Not too cheap, not too expensive for something that was essentially a single command. So I think I'm okay with this. And now we're going to run the same command on the system that has a bunch of OWASP vulnerabilities. And then we will take both of these reports, we'll compare it with what the other guys have done, and then see who wins this bake off.